Yo, I got my gat, so you know what that means. It's a bust back thing. I ain't going out like a hoe. When you coming to get me, I got the fofo. When you come to down me, player, please don't miss. Cause that don't do nothing but get my trigger finger pissed. If I live, I live. If I die, it's cool. Cause I know for sure when I was here that I was a fool. If you gon' drill me, come on and drill me. It's all good cause I got some people to see. Why I'm here, I'm getting full all the time, get blunted. My company on the move, we bought the Benz 500. AKs and Glocks in the back, the Lexus Jeeps. Having big baller parties every other week. This is the click, nigga, 226. Black connection, nigga, again, the code is 226. Dropping dope hits, taking a nigga bitch. While you on that flight, I'm busting nuts in your wife. All assault rifles, the weapons that's on my team. SKs, AKs, M1s and carbines. Fulfilling dreams, going to the top, nigga. Don't play a hate, cause we'll still hit your block, nigga. Baby gangsta ain't nothing nice. A young nigga, trigger happy, that'll put it in your life. I ain't right, represent uptown to the fullest, finger on the trigger, and I'm ready to pull it. Got my finger on the trigger. What you won't do? What you won't do, nigga? That's all on you. I got my finger on the trigger. What you won't do? What you won't do, nigga? That's all on you. I got my finger on the trigger. What you won't do? Uptown on the way, bitch. So let us through. Finger on the trigger. What you won't do? Downtown, get out the way. That's all on you. Take it how you wanna, bring it how you feel. My niggas is conscious and we kill or be killed. Fuck doing drive-bys, man, we do a pull-up. The nigga on the passenger side automatically die from several gunshot wounds to the head. On the scene he dead, Chopper City niggas fled. Won't you listen to Ziggy, get your car doors bulletproof. It's raining chopper, so get a bulletproof roof too. You got yay, download it, nigga. 9-6, you getting napped, so you best not show it, nigga. But that's when you blow it, nigga. You don't get kicked in, we want yay, high-powered AK. Balls moved in your face, no trace. Beat the case, go to the wake, make sure it ain't a fake. I want your name plate, cash in your Versace shoes. If you stingy, get plucked, nigga, that's all on you. Finger on the trigger, what you won't do? What you won't do, nigga, that's all on you. I got my finger on the trigger, what you won't do? What you won't do, nigga, that's all on you. I got my finger on the trigger, what you won't do? Uptown's on the way, bitch, so let us through. Finger on the trigger, what you won't do? Busters, get out the way, but it's all on you. Street shit is what I'm into. You got it, I'm coming to get you. Don't hesitate, nigga, or the BG gon' have to split you. I'm down for whatever, I'ma ass with that chopper. If you playin' with me, then them 50 shots gon' stop you. No bullshit, nigga, my dream is to make a meal. Paper chasing ain't no faking, player haters get killed. Young trill, baby gangster into pimping them hoes. But before I trick the hoes, my money goes to my nose and fat. Off the most t-shirts and jabos. Soldier Reebok, straight sticking to the G code. Uptown is the home of the carjackers, robbers, gangster rappers, head splitters, and kidnappers. Philippine C is where I shop for that D. Not the 17th, the real niggas in that 3. Play with them hard-head niggas, they split them. Raw dope, they sell it, I get it, I can tell it. How it go, back up or get bang, nigga. Street smarts the game, nigga, gotta let them hang, nigga. Pussy nigga got beef with the night creepers. Me, brother, and Diesel riding with them street sweepers. Old nigga want slang without a click. He don't want share, so we gon' ride on that bitch. We bout to turn your block to a war zone. I'm warning you to bring the little kids in they home. Cause when we spin the bin, bullets just getting spit. I gave you a fair warning, so if you hit, you hit. Cause I ain't slacking when I do what I gotta do. Stop being nosy, bitch, but that's all on you. Finger on the trigger, what you won't do? What you won't do, nigga, that's all on you. I got my finger on the trigger, what you won't do? What you won't do, nigga, that's all on you. I got my finger on the trigger, what you won't do? Uptown's on the way, bitch, so let us through. Finger on the trigger, what you won't do? Downtown, get out the way, that's all on you. Got my finger on the trigger, what you won't do? What you won't do, nigga, that's all on you. I got my finger on the trigger, what you won't do? What you won't do, nigga, that's all on you. I got my finger on the trigger, what you won't do? Uptown's on the way, bitch, so let us through. Finger on the trigger, what you won't do? Play ahead to get out the way, that's all on you. Toting choppers in the 9-6. Bigs getting split. Get out the way, cause if you hit, you hit. You bitch.
Get out the way. If you hit, you hit. I got my finger on the trigger. What you gonna do? What you gonna do when Yap Gang come for you? We Japanese still. You getting cooked in front of your family like a Japanese meal. It's Yasha the hibachi, and none of you niggas can stop me. All right, tonight, man, we were supposed to get Yasha. I sent the text out earlier. The JJ trying to get Yasha on here. He left a comment on my page yesterday. No, I'm not waiting till Friday. You need to show up today, Thursday. No, I get up at 5 and I work 12, 13 hours a day. So when I give you a date, it's a reason behind that. Okay. You guys find the freedom, and anytime you guys want to get on Sinetta, you find the freedom and availability then. So come on the show. Let's have the discussion. I will put the link in the chat. In fact, let me do that first. And my brother Yasha is willing to show up, and we can discuss these talking points you made in your most recent video. All right. I'm not going to sit up here and just lambast, call you a liar. No, I'm just going to show and prove and give the people the information to show that Yasha teaching that Minoans are Hamites, according to him, is demonstrably false. And he's also making the statement that the Minoans and Mycenaeans are not the same people. So basically, he's saying the Mycenaeans are Europeoids and the Minoans are Hamites. And that's just Black Hebrew Israelite slang for Africans. That's what Ham means. That's all that means. That's why the video that I addressed him on earlier this week, I pretty much said like he was trying to associate me with One West. That's a far cry. I will debate anybody from One West. Also, you are more similar. You have more in common with One West than I do. Your talking points. You use skin color as a barometer of people's ancestry and who they are. Like that, these are a lot of things that One West hold true, and these are the tenets of One West. So if anybody's going to be associated with One West, it's going to be you, Yasha. Another thing is this. You may be watching my old videos. I don't know if you're doing it on purpose. I've denounced a lot of that stuff. I don't support the 12 tribes chart. DNA destroys that. I don't support that every African American is an Israelite. DNA destroys that. A lot of things that I came into this messed up community known as Black Hebrew Israelite, Black Hebrew Israelism, or whatever you want to name it or title it, I no longer support. So if you want to get my up-to-date view, you need to watch my most recent work and my most recent videos. I have a playlist called Education on my channel. You can go click that, watch that, and get up to date. Because now my argumentum is science-based. And that's what we're going to discuss today. What does the science say? What does the empirical data say? The field that determines ancestry is being ignored by Afrocentrics, pro-blacks, 12 tribe supporters, Black Hebrew Israelites in general. It's being ignored. The one field that traces ancestry is the field of genetics, genomics, right? That is the field that you study to elucidate ancestry. No, not looking at frescoes and paintings and trying to determine whether these people are Ham or not, which is just a buzzword for an African, according to you, which that type of lingo, again, comes from pre-colonial and post-colonial Europeans that were trying to assert an ideology that pretty much made anyone black Ham. All right, and that's just historical. We went over the books and literature on prior episodes dealing with the equivocation of black skin and Ham, or the sons of Canaan, and so on and so forth. With that being stated, let me show you guys his latest video so you guys can't say I'm misconstruing his words or anything like this. This is what he said, and we're going to do a deep dive on this tonight. If he doesn't show up, fine. The video will be out here, the information will be out here, and I'm just going to to go on about my business. I'm not gonna keep making videos going back and forth with you, Yasha. You had your opportunity to come on my channel. I text Jeremiah Judah. I can't get in touch with everybody. I'm not always available. I work. I told you what days I was available. You guys agreed, I thought, Saturday or tonight, and I thought you were gonna come tonight, but then you left a post on my video talking about I'm not waiting till Friday. These are scare tactics, man. You're scared. If not, just show up. It's just me here. Anyway, let me share my screen. Hold on, James. I'm gonna let you in. I'm trying to share my screen. I see you in the back. So this is his video here. Shalom, brother James.
Hey, shalom, Mark. What's good? You can hear me?
Yes, sir.
All right, that's
You got a little static, but I can hear you.
Is that me or was that the dog in the background?
No, I heard like some static or something, but it's clear now. You're clear.
Yeah, I think that was the dog then. All right.
All right, so this is his up-to-date video here that he posted. What was this? I think he posted this like 3 hours ago. He says, Yashu 49ers teaching false information and lying. I guess he wasn't lying like always. Boy, you can't see me. Well, if I can't see you, all you got to do is come on this channel and have this discussion, right? And then we can later set up a formal debate with 3 rounds and Q&A segment, and we can actually have an actual debate, you know. But first we have to have this discussion and talk about this as a prerequisite, right? So these are his words. I'm just going to read this because trying to watch this video is very poor. The audio quality is too poor, brother. You got to do something different with how you present your videos, because I'm unable to share everything. But he made a description here to tell you what he's saying here, right? He says, Yashu swears the Manoans and Mycenaeans are the same people. Now, first of all, if you paid attention, I cited my sources. So Yasha, this is not a source that comes independently from me or Yashu. It does not come from me. This is a source that was written by Lazarus, a known geneticist, and others, right? Professionals who have actually exhumed and looked at the DNA sequences to come to their conclusions. So when you make this statement here, Yashu swears the Manoans and Mycenaeans are the same people, you need to put in the description that he's basing this off of scientific data. Then he says, and that the Greeks equally descend from both, right? And I did make these statements, but what did I base it off of? See, I'm not like you, Yasha. I actually show and prove. You remember when you were in math class, you know what I'm saying, all those decades ago, your teacher would tell you to show your work. That's what we do here on The Source. We show our work. Okay? He says, Yashub contends lies that Yasha classifies people. I guess he means continues to lie that Yasha classifies people by race and skin color. But you actually did, and I actually played the clip of you saying that, oh, these people, if they're black, you pretty much were saying that they had to come from Mount Kilimanjaro or Mount Sinai. So that is you classifying people by race and skin color. He says, and not by demographic residency, history, origins, or pedigree. First of all, demographic residency doesn't tell you who you are, right? Which I spoke about. I spoke to this in the video we did Wednesday, right? You do not use history and origins or pedigree, because if you did, you would know that the Manoans and Mycenaeans are the same people. We're going to get into that. It's all when it was he that said that Japhet is the Negro race without proving it in any fashion or whatsoever. Japhet did have what you would call Negroid features. That was my zinger of that video. He had what you would call black features.
Yeah, there's a reason that they hypothesize that DE and CF share a common ancestor in CT because they look alike.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You go to your early Cro-Magnons, they look like African people. These would be people that the first Proto-Europeans, European people, they would look African. And we can give you guys some reconstructions and depictions based off skeletal remains a little later.
Yeah, and they got the same base DNA. Again, that's why they hypothesized the CT, because to that extent, the DNA is pretty much the same.
Yep. And he says, without proving any fashion whatsoever, everyone who watched Wednesday, actually, I did prove it. I gave empirical data, things that can be observed, like DNA sequences, genetic overlap, genetic continuum and continuity in the modern Greeks compared to the bodies that they actually found that date to the Mycenaean period and Minoan period and older. So we actually did show that, and we're going to reiterate that tonight. Yasha says this is folly at best. Oh, so actually citing your sources and going off of scientific material and showing you what the genetics points towards is folly. But you just going on a rant and saying that, hey, there's black people here and he's saying white people are there isn't folly. Stop it, bro.
Brother, the scripture says Ham was black. All right.
Yeah, the scripture says Ham was black.
And if they black in Europe, well, damn it, they Ham, brother. That's what forget all of your extra biblical stuff. No. See, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go with what the Bible tell me, and then I'm gonna freestyle the rest.
Yeah.
Nah, brother. Nah. That science is made. Genetics is created by the white man.
The white man
Oh
science.
yeah, I forgot. You can't use the white man science. Even though black people, Chinese people, Indian people can use the methodology, all the same is the white man science.
Yeah. What's his name? Rashid Khan. Is that his name?
Yeah, Razib Khan.
Yeah, Rashid Khan is East Indian. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying?
A descendant of Japheth. You know what I mean? With his R1B.
Right, right. Dan Shu. That's another famous geneticist. He's Chinese. I mean, come on, man.
Probably carrying an O, Japheth too.
Mm-hmm. He says my doctrine is insanity at worst. So actually citing your work, reading what the up-to-date scholarship is insanity and folly. This is some One West. And he said, I'm One West.
That's what I was about to say, Jashub. If you come from that perspective and then you look at what we got, you would think that's some bullshit and some folly. Because, you know what I'm saying? It actually helps them in some areas, but hurts them in others. You know what I'm saying? In areas where they took some leaps of faith and jumped out there trying to connect some dots. But in some areas, it do help them. Like a lot of what they talk about, us being in Europe, the African DNA all over Southern Europe supports that. But
Mm-hmm.
then you also have it where they're saying that all the Native Americans were Israelites at one point, or at least most of them. But DNA don't say that. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to say what nobody here, but we just ain't found the evidence yet.
Exactly. And also just pointing towards black people in general and saying that Israel like that, like a lot of that stuff, DNA clears that up. And he thinks that he could just go around with a color palette like a damn painter would, a color wheel, and he's able to designate who's who based off of that. And that's not true at all. People are diverse. Usually you have groups of people, they are blends of people, and they're not just one entity. And that's the issue he has.
And I watched this video. He pretty much classified Japheth as white people.
Yeah.
That was his stance. I was sitting there listening to it when you played it the other day, and every time he said, "Oh wait, he think these people are Japheth, white folks, they black." Like, nah, bro, the ancient Japhetic people were black, well, dark skin, however you want to say it. You know what I mean?
Exactly. All the up-to-date scholarship points towards that. So this is just right here. I don't. You got to get on and defend this. What you said, Yasha. Yasha rebutted the lies told about him, crushing the straw man logical fallacy arguments thrusted to the people by 49ers. How is it a straw man argument when we played the audio of you making the statement? You made the statement, brother. By the Genesis 49ers fool, Yashub, the scholastic dummy who attends to be a cult leader. I'm a cult leader. I didn't know I had a faction of people.
Nah, he right. He right. We are the Yap Gang is a cult. We are the scientific cult of the Israelite community. I guess. You know what I'm saying? Forget it. Yeah, we right. In our community, we a goddamn cult. We fine with that.
He says misleading African American people when he realized he was in a cult and preaching, teaching, and debating occult lies. He should have been silenced and set his ass down.
Sit your
Yasha,
$5 ass down.
sit your five out. Yashu falsely slanders Yasha ben Yisrael for a lack of proper research methodology when he don't have a clue what that is. In the video, Yasha has professionals, experts in the fields of research demonstrating proper research methodology that is not reflected in untrained, unlettered research in works of Yashu, the scholastic dummy. This research has been laboratories tested. Huh? In the field of human history, genetics, I guess he meant to say anthropology here, and archaeology, tested and researched by some of the world's finest scholars and experts. Actually, the research that the up-to-date scholarship says that the Mycenaeans and Minoans are pretty much the same people, brother. They descend from the same ancestors.
And I want to say this, Yashu, as someone who has actually seen your transition, because he do use your old videos to make this. You're a far cry from the man you was when you was making them old videos. I must say so myself, because I've been there pretty much every step of the way. And I know that your methodology is on a whole nother level than what it was. But you've always had that zeal, and you've always been a person that I know if I showed you an article, out of everybody in the room, I know your ass gonna read it. You know what I'm saying? That's something I've always noticed about you. So he can't come at it from a perspective of, like you don't have the up-to-date studies, because again, a lot of that stuff was just history you was going off of, what was written and stuff. Now, once we add the DNA to the equation, we dealing with a whole new beast, and they're gonna have to recognize that.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I watched this little 20-minute clip that he made today, and he basically was just making claims. I'm like, yo, where's your citations? Where's your information? Where's the scholarship? I'm actually showing and proving the scholarship, and I've tried to do, and that's what I meant to my last videos by spending money and pain to go into this, because it takes time, energy, and effort to actually go through all this material and rake through it. You know that, James. You're just raking through this stuff and coming up with the hypotheses and theories.
While you work full time.
And
most
right.
of these dudes on the internet all day and refuse to read an article. I've been presenting one article to people about 5 years. They still ain't read the article. You know, Jashu, because you had to get on there today and tell them, well, damn, it say right there in the article
that the original Jewish cluster descends from a population already mixed with Africans.
Exactly.
Yeah, man. It's just crazy, bro. Like, y'all won't take 5 minutes to sit down and analyze this information, but y'all want to get on the internet and make claims. And that's why I told you, Yasha, if you get in the ring with Chris Harris, he's going to dog walk you. And I gave my reasons why, and you got upset behind it. You understand? You can't just step in the ring and try to say skin color, all these people are black. Because once you make the definitive claim that all these Jews in West Africa were black, all he got to do is show you white ones, and you lost.
Hey, that last paragraph, does that say this research has been laboratory testes?
I don't know what that, I guess laboratory tested. I guess that's what he was trying to say.
Yeah.
But usually when you send stuff to the lab to be tested, that's like chemical composition and stuff like that.
Yeah,
That's
I'm about to say, what the hell is he talking about? Somebody lab tested history? What the hell labs test history?
Yeah,
dude trying to sound educated real quick. That's what he did. He tried to sound real educated. And anybody who don't actually read, academic literature, they probably fell for that shit too. They're like, yeah, that shit sounds good to the motherfucker. You heard that?
That boy said it was laboratory tested. Like, Like he was like
Laboratory,
selling a product that had to go be cleared by OSHA or something first. Like, brother, what are you talking about?
laboratory testes,
Hey,
some testicles.
Sean, you need the link sent to you,
What happened?
Sean? Do you need the link?
Which link? I'm in. Yeah, no, I'm good. I'm
Oh,
on my
okay.
I'm on my laptop.
All right. So y'all see what he said, his analysis, I guess here. He's basically saying that I'm lying and I'm just misleading the people. I'm a cult leader and all that. But in the video, he fails to demonstrate how I'm lying. I'm just going to continue to do what we always do on this channel and go to the source material and read it. Again, he says the Minoans and Mycenaeans are not the same people. So we're going to show and prove that. So let's go into the dialogue he left on my channel. And I was hitting him up while I was at work. So if you see me respond as Yashu, that's my other account. So he commented here. Let's make sure you guys can see this. And he says, check your methodology, homie. It will be challenged. I'm still waiting for you to do that. The link's in the chat. You can come on here and do so. He says, you spend a lot of money and pain in your growth, and that is the reason you're not growing up, but down. Neither money or pain is required or needed for intellectual growth or growth of any kind. What you need is intellect and proper research and study, not money and pain. Go get a real teacher and do real research. I guess real teachers go around judging people off their skin color and not their genetics.
Shit, I guess real teachers out there working for free. I don't know no damn teachers that work for free. Not no real ones. You know what I mean? And I don't know no real books on education that don't cost no money. When you want college level books, that costs money. And you know, anybody who's been to college know college books $200-$300 easy.
Yeah.
Easy.
Yeah, man. That's if you want the information, you're gonna have to break some bread at some point, He told me to go get a real teacher and do some real research. I guess, actually looking at peer-reviewed articles and examining empirical data is not real research to him. I guess if I went and bought Ivan Van Sertima's books or Dr. Ben Yokanan's books or any of those other old, outdated Sheikh Auntie Diop books and just read them, that would be proper research methodology in his opinion. Come on, man. Wake up.
Man,
So this is what
I
I
would
respond.
say that those people would be ashamed of these Negroes right now.
You said they'd be ashamed?
Yeah, because they work with what they had at the time. You know what I'm saying? I can't knock them for doing the best they could do with what they had at the time. They didn't have DNA to go off. All they had pretty much was craniometry to argue everything based off of. So they rocked with it. I can respect that because that was the best they had at their time. But now we got some way better shit, and y'all still doing the same shit they was doing back in the 60s. Y'all should be ashamed of y'all damn self.
Right, and that's why I say out. I'm not saying they dumb, stupid, or nothing like that. I just said it's out of date. And he'll continue to say, "Oh, what do you mean by that?" But that's reality stuff. Things that were taught in the 1900s and early 1960s and 70s, it just don't jive now because again, the technology has increased. Understanding of genetics has increased. So much more is available to us now. You understand? We have a better tool set to work with. So I said, LOL, you were wrong about everything you said. The Minoans, Mycenaeans are from Europeoids. You finish. And then this is his response. You wish and hope I'm wrong, but I'm not. You are. The Mycenaeans and Minoans are two completely different people. So again, we have them on the record saying Mycenaeans and Minoans are not the same people. So he can't say he's attacking a straw man. No, these are your words, brother. And I'm gonna put your feet to the fire on this claim. He says with two completely different origins, pedigrees, and histories. Saying I'm wrong on anything I say is not sufficient proof. I understand it. I don't just make the claim like you guys do. You guys get on the internet and just make claims. I actually back up my words with empirical data and articles. You must establish your truth against me by demonstration of said truths. I've already did that. And this shows that you are dogmatic because you said truths. You already have in your mind and made up in your mind that what you believe in is truth, right? Or else you prove nothing but you talk, lie, and err.
Hey, just shoot. That's why he don't read empirical data. Because when you got that dogmatic mindset to what you believe, you don't want to look at nothing that may go against. You have to be open-minded enough to walk over here on this side of the thing and look at the empirical data and try to make sense of it through a biblical framework. You have to.
Facts. Facts. He also said Thursday night, come on our show tonight. I ain't waiting until Friday. So that lets you know that he not coming on this link tonight. This is all the ploy because I already told him I was going to be available Friday or Saturday. All the brother should have said is, I agree, I accept, or I don't. All this, let's do a surprise show. I'm not doing a show. I worked 13 hours yesterday. I got home and took my ass to sleep. You understand? I don't live for YouTube. Yes, I do YouTube on the side. And that's not my main thing like you brothers. You brothers might be on YouTube all goddamn day or on social media all day. You understand? I don't do that. So when I tell you, hey, I'm available Friday or Saturday, it's for a reason. He says, we can go now at the drop of a dime, yo. No, I don't do that. Y'all not paying my salary. Y'all don't pay my bills. So if I give you a scheduled date, either say, I can't make that date or that's it. So I said, bring your scary ass Friday night because I already knew what this was. This is all a ploy right here. Once you did this, I already knew you weren't going to show up Friday. You know what I'm saying? It's damn near 10 o'clock. Jeremiah was on the show last time, and he said he was going to have you come through. I texted him about 2 hours ago, 3 hours ago, still no response. And you not here yet. You afraid. I have every right to say that and make that declarative statement because you're not here. And because you did this fugaziness, you understand, on my channel. All right, so from there, main point is y'all can all see, the people can see, that he's not being straw man here. He made the claim that Mycenaeans and Minoans are two completely different people. In this video here, he's basically saying, you guys can watch on your own time. He's basically saying that the Mycenaeans are Europeans and Minoans are Hamites, which makes no sense. Yeah, sister. He's avoiding the fire. He's avoiding the fire. He don't want no parts of this over here. See, these dudes talk a good game. This ain't Sonetto, Garfield. You got to actually come over here and show and prove what you talking about. All right. So check this out. From there, let's go to the article. Remember, he made the claim that the Minoans and Mycenaeans are not the same people. That's what he said. He put his foot in his mouth. And after tonight, the invitation is closed. I'm not gonna keep going back and forth with you, Yasha. I gave you a little shout out. You could have came on here, handled business like a man should, but you didn't. All right. So let's go to this article here. We read this last time, but I want to read it in its entirety. The Greeks really do have near mythical origins, ancient DNA reveals. Analysis connects Greeks to the famed Mycenaeans and Minoans. Again, Yasha, this is a scientific article. This isn't my opinion. This is not me creating this. This is an article that has been established and peer reviewed, right? So the analysis connects Greeks to the famed Mycenaeans and Minoans. Modern Greeks are connected to the Mycenaeans and Minoans. It says, ever since the days of Homer, Greeks have long idealized their Mycenaean ancestors. In epic poems and classic tragedies that glorify the exploits of Odysseus, King Agamemnon, and other heroes who went in and out of favor with the Greek gods. Although these Mycenaeans were fictitious, scholars have debated whether today's Greeks descend from the actual Mycenaeans. So this is the whole purpose of this article.
That's Agamemnon, and he's actually from Ethiopia. Well, he's called Ethiopian because he's from Africa.
Yeah, Agamemnon. It says scholars have debated whether today's Greeks descend from the actual Mycenaeans, who created a famous civilization that dominated mainland Greece and the Aegean Sea from about 1600 BCE to 1200 BCE, or whether the ancient Mycenaeans simply vanished from the region. So this is what this article is speaking to. Do these people descend from the Mycenaeans? Now ancient DNA suggests that living Greeks are indeed descendants of Mycenaeans. So the article says it. Living Greeks, modern Greeks, are indeed the descendants of Mycenaeans. Are you paying attention, Yasha? I don't think you are paying attention when you're watching and analyzing my videos, right? Or you're dealing with what we call special pleading, ignoring things that are not in favor to your premise. It says now ancient DNA, meaning they examined fossils, right? And were able to extract DNA from those fossils, sequence the DNA, and compare it to the modern Greeks. Now, ancient DNA suggests that living Greeks are indeed the descendants of Mycenaeans, with only a small proportion of DNA from latter migrations to Greece. And the Mycenaeans, because remember what he said, the Mycenaeans and Minoans weren't the same people. And the Mycenaeans themselves were closely related to earlier Minoans, the study reveals. Another great civilization that flourished on the island of Crete from 2600 BCE to 1400 BCE. Again, he said the Minoans in another video that we dealt with the other day were Phoenicians, but Phoenicians were not around 2600 BCE, right? Named for the mythical king Manos. So he's claiming the Minoans are Hamites, but this article is clear that the Mycenaeans themselves were closely related to earlier Minoans. Let's keep going. The ancient DNA comes from the teeth of 19 people, including 10 Minoans from Crete dating to 2900 BCE to 1700 BCE, 4 Mycenaeans from archaeological site at Mycenae and other cemeteries on the Greek mainland dating from 1700 BCE to 1200 BCE, and 5 people from other early farming or Bronze Age 5400 BCE to 1340 BCE cultures in Greece and Turkey. By comparing 1.2 million letters genetic code across these genomes to those of 334 other ancient people from around the world and 30 modern Greeks, the researchers were able to plot how the individuals were related to each other. Again, this information made them come to this conclusion here. Ancient DNA suggests that living Greeks are indeed descendants of Mycenaeans, right? The ancient Mycenaeans and Minoans were most closely related to each other. Remember, Yasha is making the claim that they're not the same people, but the empirical data suggests that the ancient Mycenaeans and Minoans were most closely related to each other.
Not only they saying out of all the DNA that they analyzed in the study, those two are the most closely related groups out of all the DNA. So Yasha, you just out of there, bro. You out of there, bro.
He finished. And they both got 3/4 of their DNA from early farmers who lived in Greece and southwestern Anatolia, which is now part of Turkey. This didn't say anything about Phoenicians that didn't even exist at this time, right? It doesn't say anything about that. It doesn't say anything about Mount Kilimanjaro. It don't say none of that. It says that these people are related to each other, and they come from early farmers who lived in Greece and southwestern Anatolia, which is now part of Turkey. The team reports today in Nature. Both cultures additionally inherited DNA from people from the Eastern Caucasus near modern-day Iran, suggesting an early migration of people from the east after the early farmers settled there, but before the Mycenaeans split from the Minoans.
That means common ancestral population, right? If they
Exactly.
split from each other. Oh, damn.
Hey, Yasha, I know you're gonna watch this. If in order to split from a population, you have to be what? Once a part of that population. Common ancestral population, man. The Mycenaeans did not have an important difference. They had some DNA 4 to 60% from northern ancestors who came from Eastern Europe or Siberia. This suggests that a second wave of people from the Eurasian steppe came to mainland Greece by the way of Eastern Europe or Armenia, but didn't reach Crete, says Iosif Lazarus, a population geneticist at Harvard University who co-led the study. So we're actually citing actual proof here.
So only 4 to 16% of their DNA is different from each other. That's it.
Yes.
Man, we probably got that much diversity in African American, more than that in the African American community.
Yeah, more. That you know these people are very similar. It says here, not surprisingly, the Minoans and Mycenaeans looked alike, both carrying genes for brown hair and brown eyes. Artists in both cultures painted dark-haired, dark-eyed people on frescoes and pottery who resemble each other, although the two cultures spoke and wrote different languages. The Mycenaeans were more militaristic, with art replete with spears and images of war, whereas Minoan art showed few signs of warfare, Lazarus says. Because the Minoan script used the hieroglyphics, some archaeologists thought they were partly Egyptian, which turns out to be false. Why does that turn out to be false? Because the DNA data. These people are largely Anatolia and Caucasian related peoples. It says when the researchers compared the DNA of modern Greeks of the ancient to that of the ancient Mycenaeans, they found a lot of genetic overlap. Modern Greeks share similar properties of DNA from the same ancestral sources as Mycenaeans. So, meaning modern Greeks are related to Mycenaeans and Minoans. Because we read earlier that the Mycenaeans split from the Minoans, although they have inherited a little less DNA from ancient Anatolian farmers and a bit more DNA from later migrations to Greece.
They would have had to get that hieroglyphic form of script from trade.
Exactly.
That's it. It doesn't have to require, genetic any admixture or anything. Just trade would have done.
Cultural exchanges. Like African Americans, for example. We speak English. We pretty much thoroughly American, but we're not genetically the same by and large, right? 60% of African American males are E. Than Western European populations that make the majority. Same thing. We got our language through cultural exchange. Let's keep reading. It says the continuity between the Mycenaeans and the living people is particularly striking, given that the Aegean has been a crossroads of civilizations for thousands of years, says co-author George of the University of Washington in Seattle. This suggests that the major components of the Greeks' ancestry were already in place in the Bronze Age, after the migration of the earliest farmers from Anatolia set the template for the genetic makeup of Greeks and, in fact, most Europeans. So what this is saying, that this genetic composition, these ancestors were already there in the Bronze Age. So you can't come back and say, no, these are people that came later, or these are invaders, or they're Alexander the Greek babies. No, they're not. Their ancestors were already there. It says the spread of farming populations was the decisive moment when the major elements of the Greek population were already provided, says archaeologist Colin Renfrew of the University of Cambridge in the United Kingdom, who was not involved in the work. The results also show it is possible to get ancient DNA from the hot and dry landscape of Eastern Mediterranean, Renfrew says. He and others now have hope for getting DNA from groups such as the mysterious Hittites, who came to ancient Anatolia sometime before 2000 BCE, and who may have been the source of Caucasian ancestry in the Mycenaeans, and early Indo-European languages in the region. So now I have a question for Yasha. If the Minoans are Hamites and all that jazz, who's responsible for these early Indo-European languages? Are you going to say Hamites? Because we know who spread and proliferated Indo-European languages. Those would be the children of Japheth. But let's continue reading. It says archaeologist Christian of the University of Gothenburg in Sweden, who was not involved in the work, agrees. The results have now opened up the next chapter in the genetic history of Western Eurasia, that of the Bronze Age Mediterranean. All right, so that's the end of the article. So the article is clear. The Greeks, modern day Greeks, are related to the famed Mycenaeans and Minoans. The Mycenaeans actually split from the Minoans, and they're pretty much genetically similar. They're the same people. But Yasha is going on a fringe argument and saying they're not. So we want to see his works that refute this. We want to see his sources that rebut this. This is up to date information. This is based off the skeletal remains they found in these lands. All right, so from there, let's move on to the next article. Let's move on to the next article. Um, which is actually based off what we just read. Actually, this is the article that they from Lazarus that the science.com is basing their article off of. So this article is the genetic origins of the Minoans and Mycenaeans. Again, article in Nature, August 2017. Again, you see ISF, Lazarus Harvard Medical School, Malik University in Wyoming, Alyssa Mitnick, Max Planck Institute for Science Human History, Prefringo University of Tübingen. These are geneticists here. This is who we're quoting. This is their work. Genetic origins of the Minoans and Mycenaeans. The origins of the Bronze Age Minoan and Mycenaean cultures have puzzled archaeologists for more than a century. We have assembled genome-wide data from 19 ancient individuals, including Minoans from Crete, Mycenaeans from the mainland Greece, and our eastern neighbors from southwestern Anatolia. Here we show that the Minoans and Mycenaeans were genetically similar, having at least 3/4 of their ancestry from the first Neolithic farmers of western Anatolia and in the Aegean. So again, Yasha, you're wrong. These people are the same. They have the same genetic composition as each other. They were once coagulated or aggregated as a population and split, as we read earlier. So you got to come on here and address this, man. Like I said, I'm not going to drag this on for weeks and weeks to come. If you're afraid, just continue to be afraid. And we're going to continue to do the work, man. The scholastic work. It says, in most of the remainder from the ancient population related to those of the Caucasus and Iran. However, the Mycenaeans differ from Minoans in deriving additional ancestry from the ultimate source related to hunter-gatherers of Eastern Europe and Siberia. Remember, we read that. It's like 4 to 16% of that DNA that makes them different. That's it. Introduced via a proximal source related to the inhabitants of either Eurasian steppe or Armenia. Modern Greeks resemble the Mycenaeans, but with some additional dilution of the early Neolithic ancestry. Our results support the idea of continuity, meaning these are the people that were there in times past, but not isolation in the history of population of the Aegean before and after the time of its earliest civilization. Again, none of this says they came from Mount Kilimanjaro. It doesn't say that. It doesn't say they come from sub-Saharan Africa, like Dr. Clyde Winters would try to say. It don't say none of that. None of the DNA points to that. Ancient DNA research has traced the principal ancestors of early European farmers to a highly similar Neolithic population of Greece and Western Anatolia, beginning in the 7th millennium BC. So 7,000 BC, that's about 9,000 years ago. However, the latter history of these regions down to the Bronze Age as a transformational period in the history of Eurasia is less clear. There is limited genetic evidence suggesting migrations from both the east, the area of Iran, and Caucasus, reaching Anatolia by at least 3,800 BC. In the north, Eastern Europe and Siberia contributing ancient North Eurasian ancestry to all modern Europeans. The timing and impact of these migrations in the Aegean is, however, unknown. During the Bronze Age, 2 prominent archaeological cultures emerged in the Aegean. The culture of the island of Crete, sometimes referred to as Minoan. And again, I have to keep stressing this. Yasha is on record saying Minoans are Hamites. And like I said, these arguments are coming from old, out-of-date arguments because he probably read something like the Black Athena or something like, oh, well, these people have to be Africans. Because again, you're just using the word ham as a buzzword of Africa. Africa is not even homogenous either. But guess what? Guess who are homogenous? The Mycenaeans and Minoans, right?
Nah, brother, you don't understand. You see right there, it say Iran and the Caucasus, brother. You don't know Ham was in Iran and the Caucasus? The ancient North Eurasians. You didn't know that those was Hamites?
They all Hamites. Hey, but he didn't even say Iran. He said black people come from Mount Kilimanjaro.
Yeah, that's an Africa.
It says the culture of island Crete, sometimes referred to as Minoan, was Europe's first literate civilization and has been described as Europe's first major experience of civilization. However, the linear syllabic, ideographic, and Cretan hieroglyphic scripts used by this culture remain undeciphered, obscuring its origins. Equally important was the civilization of the Mycenaean culture of mainland Greece, whose language written in the linear B strip was an early form of Greek. Cretan influence in the mainland Greece and the latter Mycenaean occupation of Crete linked these two archaeological cultures. But the degree of genetic affinity between mainland and Cretan populations is unknown. Greek is related to other Indo-European languages, leading to diverse theories tracing the earliest speakers from the 7th millennium down to less than 600 BC and proposing varying degrees of population change. Genome-wide ancient DNA data provides a new source of information about the people of the Bronze Age, who were first known through the ancient poetic and historical traditions, starting with Homer and Herodotus. Later, through the disciplines of archaeology and linguistics, and more recently by the limited information from ancient mitochondrial DNA. Mitochondrial DNA is on the female side. It says here we answer several questions. First, do the labels Minoan and Mycenaean correspond to the genetically coherent populations, or do they obscure a more complex structure of the peoples who inhabited Crete and mainland Greece at this time? Second, how were the two groups related to each other, to their neighbors across the Aegean and Anatolia, and to other ancient populations from Europe? So this, again, the article is telling you, like, a lot of these scientific articles are straightforward. A lot of people think it's convoluted. No, it's straightforward. It's telling you what the purpose of this article is for, and the scientific paper is for. So we're going to find out how the Minoans and Mycenaeans correspond genetically, how they are related to each other. Because again, Yasha is saying they're not related to each other. It says in the Near East, third. Go back up. Click one of the annotations. For everybody viewing and listening, this article, this is not even that long of a read either. We're gonna actually read the whole thing. Watch this. It says, where were we? To the neighbors. Thirdly, can inferences about their ancestral origins inform debates about the origins of their cultures? Fourth, how are the Minoans and Mycenaeans related to modern Greeks who inhabit the same area today? So they're gonna answer these things in this article. Because remember, up to this point, a lot of these things were obscure. They were able to get this DNA in this hot, arid climate, right, of the Mediterranean. That's what opened up the mystery, right? That's what solved it. Let's keep reading. It says, we generated genome-wide data from 19 individuals. These comprise 10 Minoans from Crete, approximately 2900 and 1700 BC, labeled Minoan from Mani near the southern coast, central Crete, and Minoan Lasithai from the cave of Hagios, Charlambos in the highland plain of La City at East Crete. 4 Mycenaeans were included from the mainland Greece, approximately 1700 to 1200 BC, from the western coast of Peloponnese, from Argolis in the island of Salamis. An additional individual from Armenoi in western Crete, approximately 1370 to 1340 BC, labeled Crete Armenoi. Post-dated the appearance of Mycenaean culture on the island. Our data set also included a Neolithic example from Alepotripa cave at Diros Bay in the southern Peloponnese, about 5400 BCE. So watch this. So they give you the map of where they're finding these bodies at, right? You see it, Crete, the mainland Greece, Diros over here, Peloponnese. Then you see the sample found in Turkey. So these are actual bodies being dug up out the ground, exhumed, and DNA is being sequenced, and they're able to find out who's related to who. And they show you here how they cluster and where they fall, right? In the PCA. In southern Peloponnese, 5400 BC, adding to previously published samples from northern Greece. Finally, it concluded 3 Bronze Age individuals, approximately 2800 to 1800 BC, labeled Anatolia, Bronze Age, from the Harmoniran in southwestern Anatolia, adding knowledge about genetic variation in Anatolia after Neolithic Chalcolithic periods. We processed the ancient remains, extracted DNA, and prepared Illumina libraries in dedicated clean rooms. And after initial screening for mitochondrial DNA used in solution hybridization to capture 1.2 million single nucleotide polymorphisms, SNPs, on the ancient samples. We assessed contamination by examining the rate at which they matched the mitochondrial consensus sequence at the rate which male samples were heterozygous and on the X chromosome. We combined a data set of 19 individuals with 332 other individuals from the literature, 2,614 present-day human genotype on the human origins array, and 2 present-day cretins. We performed principal component analysis, projecting ancient samples onto the first 2 principal components inferred from present-day West Eurasian population. Again, PCA just shows you how these people relate to each other, right? That's what a principal component analysis does. That's also how we know that West Africans or Sub-Saharan Africans have a Levantine component because of a PCA analysis, that how we relate to certain Eurasian populations. Well, that's for another story. Let's keep reading. It said that formed 2 south-north parallel clines in Europe and the Near East along the principal component 2. Minoans and Mycenaeans were centrally positioned in the PCA. Now that's important. They're centrally positioned in the PCA. That means they're clustered together. And if they're clustered together, that means they are related to each other. That's what that means. They are very closely related. Remember, they have a small difference, 4 to 16% difference. And as my brother James pointed out, there's more DNA difference between African Americans than there are Mycenaeans and Minoans. That's how closely related to each other they are. That's how we know they came from the same population. It says, framed to the left by ancient populations from the mainland Europe and the Eurasian steppe, to the right, ancient populations from the Caucasus and Western Asia. So they're in the middle of these populations from Europe, and the Caucasus and Western Asia. To the bottom by early middle Neolithic farmers from Europe and Anatolia.
All those Japhetic people.
They're all Japhites. They're all family, man. The Neolithic samples from Greece clustered with these farmers and were distinct from the Minoans and Mycenaeans. The Bronze Age individuals from southwestern Anatolia were also distinct, intermediate between Anatolian and Levantine populations toward the bottom. The population from Armenia, Iran, and the Caucasus towards the top. Admixture analysis showed that Minoans and Mycenaeans both possessed a pink genetic component, shared with Bronze Age southwestern Anatolians, Neolithic central Anatolians from Tepesik, a Chalcolithic northwestern Anatolian, and western Anatolians from Kuntepi. This component was maximized in the Mesolithic Neolithic samples from Iran and hunter-gatherers from the Caucasus. It was not found in Neolithic or northwestern Anatolia, Greece, or early middle Neolithic populations of the rest of Europe. Only appearing in the populations of the late Neolithic, Bronze Age, and mainland Europe, introduced there by migrations from the Eurasian steppe. Beyond visual impressions of PCA and admixture, we formally tested the relationships among populations from our study and literature using statistics of the form F4, and that evaluated with tests shared more alleles with X or Y. We found that test populations from Iran, the Caucasus, and Eastern Europe shared more alleles with Minoans and Mycenaeans than with Neolithic populations of Greece. So these people, they're distantly related to the people from the Caucasus and Eastern Europe. The Minoans from the Latishi Plateau and the highlands of Eastern Crete from the coast of Southern Crete were consistent with being a homogeneous population, right? It says,
hey, the Israelite population ain't even a homogeneous population. They're saying that the Levantine Israelites, they ain't even homogeneous.
They're not homogeneous, they heterogeneous.
Yep. But this group homogeneous, that mean they the same damn people. No way around.
Exactly. It says Mycenaeans different from these Minoans, ensuring significantly fewer alleles with Neolithic people from the Levant, Anatolia, Greece, and mainland Europe. And again, we've already explained this 4 to 16% difference, and it even speaks to it here when we get there. from Siberia. It says, in comparison, the Bronze Age Anatolians shared fewer alleles with ancient Europeans and more with ancient populations of Iran and Levant. We use F3 statistics to form F3, that if negative showed that the test was admixed from sources related to reference 1, reference 2 source populations. We do not find significantly negative pairs for Minoans or Bronze Age Anatolia.
Iran and Levant, J, huh?
Yeah, pretty much.
Iran and Levant, yeah, that's J. That's
Yeah,
J.
we're gonna get to the haplogroups of these people. When we get to the haplogroups, it's pretty much gonna be closed casket for my brother Yasha, because we know what the haplogroups are.
I already got it loaded up.
You already got it? You want to share it? Let me finish reading this.
Yeah, hold on. I want you to finish that, but real quick, I want to share.
It's the next paragraph. It's the next paragraph after this.
All
right. It says, but did for the Mycenaeans, involving early farmers from Levant, Anatolia, and Greece, and the rest of Europe as one source, and Iran or the Eurasian steppe or steppe influenced Europeans as the other. We model Bronze Age populations using the QP ADM wave framework, which relates a set of left population, admixed population, and ancestral source population with a set of right population, diverse outgroups, and allows testing for the number of the streams of ancestry from right to left and estimation of admixture proportions. This analysis shows that all Bronze Age populations from the Aegean. Now, I hope he's listening. All Bronze Age populations from the Aegean, Anatolia, are consistent with deriving approximately 62 to 86% of their ancestry from the Anatolian Neolithic related population. 62, most of their DNA comes from this Anatolian Neolithic population. I hope you listen to Yasha and learning and taking notes. These people come from the same ancestors, right? So just get murked when the clips disperse, but don't leave yet. The shit gets worse. Let's keep reading. So, however, they also had a component approximately 9 to 32% of Eastern Caucasian Iran-related ancestry. It was previously shown that this type of ancestry was introduced into mainland Europe via Bronze Age pastoralists from the Eurasian steppe. Again, not from Mount Kilimanjaro, Yasha. This is why you didn't show up tonight. You knew tonight was going to be a scholastic beatdown. So you tucked your tail and you found a motive to leave. You found an alibi not to show up.
JJ told him not to show up, make a little video, then you gonna expose your cards, and now he gonna see him. He ain't gonna show. He gonna bag out for show now.
He gonna bag out for show. He definitely not coming now. It says who were a mix of both Eastern European hunter-gatherers and populations from the Caucasus and Iran. So are you saying Hamites are Eastern European hunter-gatherers? Our results show that it also arrived on its own, at least in the Minoans. Without Eastern European hunter-gatherer ancestry, this ancestry need not have arrived from regions east of Anatolia, as it already was present during the Neolithic. Why? Because we read earlier, Anatolian Neolithic-related population, which is most of this region of the Aegean and Anatolia, about 62 to 86%. Most of their DNA comes from this early population. Let me keep reading. It says here, the ancestry need not arrive from regions east of Anatolia, as it was already present during the Neolithic and Central Anatolia at Tepesik. The Eastern influence in the Bronze Age population from Greece and Southwest Anatolia is also supported by an analysis of their Y chromosomes. Now, the Y chromosomes is tracing the male line from father to son, from son to father, all the way to archfather, right? 4 out of 5 males belonging to Minoans and Mycenaeans and Southwestern Anatolians belong to haplogroup J. Haplogroup J.
Uh-oh.
Minoans, Mycenaeans, and Southwestern Anatolians belong to haplogroup J.
See, I ain't even read that article yet, but when they kept linking Iran and the Caucasus, all that came up in my mind was J.
Exactly. So, Yasha, how the hell are the Minoans, Hamites, and they got a haplogroup J? You need to come on here and explain that. But you're not going to come. You're not going to show up.
You ready to share
because
screen?
your one West style rhetoric does not work here. It says, which was rare or non-existent in earlier populations from Greece. So what connects these Minoans and Mycenaeans and Southwest Anatolians is the fact they got a haplogroup J, right? Which was rare or non-existent in earlier populations from Greece and Western Anatolia, who were dominated by Y chromosome haplogroup G2.
The G strings twins. There y'all go. Y'all real Greeks. You feel me?
The actual, yeah, real. They even before the Mycenaeans and Minoans.
Yep. The originators. You know what I'm saying? What's his name? Orts. What's his name? The hunter gatherer they found with G2A4 or whatever.
I see the Iceman.
Yeah, Oxy. Yeah, they forefather Oxy. Yeah, y'all can't get around that. That is y'all forefather.
That yeah.
He pretty much had a founder effect on that one. That's y'all forefather.
That's y'all great relative, man. Your great forefather, man. Y'all got to celebrate him like y'all celebrate Abraham, man. Father Abraham, Father Ossie.
Yep, Father Oxy, man. That's y'all folks.
Hey, Yasha, I hope you taking notes, because at the end of the day, hopefully you get educated by this, right? And this is why I said what Ivan Van Sertima and those other guys and his cohorts was saying. It's out of date now. Let me keep reading. Haplogroup J was present in Caucasus hunter-gatherers and a Mesolithic individual from Iran. And it spread westward may have accompanied the Eastern genome-wide influence. Now, according to Josephus, these inhabitants of Greece would be Japhet. They would be Japhet, or as you know, as Javon. And the reason why I'm bringing this up is because you made the claim that I don't follow the Bible. This is what people always do. Yashu don't follow the Bible. He's an atheist. Da, da, da. They always use that line of thinking. But who's really not following the Bible? Because the people at the onset that inhabited Greece and Crete, according to Josephus, would be Japhet. And these are their haplogroups. Okay? J and G.
It ain't that they don't follow the Bible, you know what? They don't believe it. You know what I'm saying? We stepped out here and got in this because we actually believe the Bible. We was like, man, we know the Bible true. And all this DNA, all this science and stuff, it gotta prove it if it's true. And we jumped out there and we found the evidence. They ain't do that. They ain't taking the time to read, study, sequence everything, synchronize it, make it make sense. They ain't gonna do that. They just gonna keep reading the Bible, and then wherever a gap left, they gonna freestyle. We fill in the gap with science, you know, outside the Bible. They just freestyle.
Freestyle King. The Freestyle Kings of the Israelite community. Game over. All right, so now, Yasha, you got their haplogroups. You know their paternal lineage is J and G2. Primarily, Minoans and Mycenaeans are haplogroup J, right? Earlier inhabitants were largely G2, which makes sense because a lot of Europe was G2 at that time. Let's keep reading because you got a lot to answer here, and I think JJ pulled you out of this because he knew that there was no way you're going to win this. It says that the Minoans could be modeled as a mixture of the Anatolia Neolithic related substratum with additional Eastern ancestry. So again, you said Minoans are Hamites, but according to this article, Minoans are a mixture of Anatolia Neolithic related substratum with additional Eastern ancestry. That's what they are. And they have haplogroup J. How the hell are they Hamites? How? You said they come from Kilimanjaro. They have to, if they're black, they come from Kilimanjaro. That's what you said. The Mycenaeans had approximately.
He say you tripping. Haplogroup J is in East Africa, brother.
Yeah, today.
It's all in Somalia and Ethiopia, brother.
It is the
That's
day.
ham, brother. That's ham.
That's ham. I guess that's ham sandwiches. Hey, 4, 5, 6,000 years ago. I guess
brother. Ain't no
7, 8,000 years ago in the Bible, brother. Show me that in the scripture, brother.
Show me that it's true. Oh man. Show me Manoan in scripture. That's how I'll respond to him on that. I'm like, show me Manoan in scripture. Manoan's not in scripture. Let's keep reading. So the Mycenaeans had approximately 4 to 60% ancestry from a northern ultimate source related to hunter-gatherers of Eastern Europe and Siberia. This is the only difference of them, right? This is that slight difference that they have in
Hey,
Minoan.
Ham was in Siberia.
Ham was in Siberia. That's gonna be
That's
the
the
next
Hamite
claim.
link from Siberia.
And guess what they claim? Guess how they gonna prove that? Because black people are there. Watch.
Yep, they dark skinned, brother. Look at the Eskimos. Look at the Eskimos, brother.
It says while the Bronze Age southwestern Anatolians may have had less than 6% ancestry related to Neolithic and Levantine population, the elite Mycenaean individuals from the royal tomb at the Peristeria in the western Peloponnese did not differ genetically from the other 3 Mycenaean individuals buried in common graves. To identify more approximate sources of the distinctive Eastern European / North Eurasian related ancestry of Mycenaeans, we included later populations as candidate sources and could model Mycenaeans as a mixture of the Anatolian Neolithic and Chalcolithic to Bronze Age population from Armenia. Population from Armenia possess some ancestry related to Eastern European hunter-gatherers, so they are similar unsampled population of Western Asia could have contributed it to the populations of the Aegean.
So those swagger jackals who stole our Afro-Asiatic language and farming techniques pretty much just took them over to Greece and mixed in with the population that was already there.
Pretty much.
Oh, well,
And that's how they got
Jaffa
that
said
East
he had to
European.
take care of his own, huh?
Yeah, man. The scriptures say that Japheth, how go enlarged Japheth and he dwell in the tents of Shem.
Yep. Took
It
all the
says that.
skills from Shem.
Got another scripture for him too. Genesis 10 and 5. Go back to that map when you get a chance. Where they found the samples at.
Yeah, I got you. I'm gonna go to it right now. What's this, page 3? We're almost finished. This is a short paper.
Yeah, I got another paper too to double up on this. All right, so these are islands, right? Those are the isles. Islands, right?
I'm an island boy.
Those are islands. Share my screen. You can see me?
Yes, sir. Oh, that's the same paper.
No, this is hold on before we what's showing you right? What am I showing you right now?
Genetic origins of Minoans and Mycenaeans. That's what I was reading from.
Yeah, I think it's the same paper. Just
Yeah, I got another one too
site.
for the mtDNA, just in case he thinks hold on, let me get rid of this one. Just in case he think, well, maybe their mamas was Hamites. We got the mtDNA.
Yeah, man. I had some fools arguing with me talking about, well, look at the people over in the islands in the Pacific Islands. They come from Japanese, they Japanese too. I was like, yeah, dummy. It says the islands of the sea, don't it? It say Japanese in all the islands of the sea.
Hey James, you breaking up. You breaking up, James.
Can you?
I can see that.
Yeah, but James was trying to say something, but he started his signal.
Yeah, I hear it. He's breaking up. His mic got a short bit.
Oh, let me charge my phone quick.
Sound like your mic got a short. The wire got a short in it.
Yeah. Bring that out, Sean.
The sons of Japheth: Gomer, Magog, Madai, Javan, Tubal, Meshach, Tyrus, and the sons of Gomer: Ashkenaz, Rephaim, Togarmah, and the sons of Javan: Elisha, and Tarshish, Kittim, and Dodanim. By these were the isles of the Gentiles divided in their lands, everyone after his tongue, after their families in their nations. The isles of the Gentiles. Bring that to, where did they find those those samples at? You can hear me?
Yep. Crete, mainland Greece, in the Aegean Sea, right here.
Yep.
So these
The
are
Isles
islands.
of the Gentiles.
Yeah.
Let me see if I could get this mtDNA up, see where it says these women came from, just in case they think the women came from, well, maybe their mamas was African. Maybe their mamas was Hamites.
Maybe their mamas are African.
Let me share screen. Share screen. Sorry.
And as y'all can see, the modern Greece cluster in the middle, like as we read. Like a lot of people look at this stuff like, oh, it's convoluted. No, it's not. Just read the article. It will tell you what you're looking at.
Yeah, it's called a legend for a reason. They taught you this in school. When you first saw a map, they say, look at the legend. And if you look at the legend, it'll tell you everything you need to know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and again, the circles that you see and triangles and squares and stuff, if they're closely next to each other, I mean they're clustered together because they're related. They have a lot of genetic components that are similar, right? And modern Greece cluster in the middle. All right, hold on.
You got me?
Yep.
All right. So this study is the European population of the Minoan Bronze Age Crete. I'm going to start here. In this study, we address the question of the origin of the Minoans by comparing Minoan mtDNA, right? That's your mama, polymorphisms with those of 135 modern and ancient populations. We studied skeletal remains from two Minoan populations, one in Central Crete, the other in Southern Crete. Following the application of the series of strict authentication criteria, we used for our comparison the DNAs of 37 Minoans whose remains were well preserved in a cave ossuary located in the Licith Plateau of East Central Crete. We determined that the mtDNA polymorphism using two different methods applied to two different laboratories. Our calculations of genetic distances, haplotype sharing, and principal component analysis, PCAs, exclude a North African origin of the Minoans. Instead, we find that the highest genetic affinity of Minoans is the Neolithic and modern European populations. Need I go further?
Hold, sir. Read that again. What population these Minoans come from?
The Minoans is within the Neolithic modern European population. I go further. I don't know. So their mamas was in Africa. It excluded.
Wait, and they say just J is right there with them.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we know that J clusters right along with ancient Europeans, so they can get away from that trying to make them Shem. All right.
Right, they Japhetic people.
That too. So their mama and their daddy was Europeans.
Yeah. And see, he was trying to make it seem like these are Hamites, these are Paleo. Where's the Paleo African component? Huh? We haven't read anything yet about a Paleo African component that they come from these ancient Africans that were there 10,000 years ago, coming directly from Africa.
And it says it right here. It says it. Haplotype sharing and principal component analysis, PCAs, exclude a North African origin. Just in case, because that's around the Mediterranean Sea. So you might want to try to squeeze in the North Africans into the Minoans, but it says it excludes the North African component. And instead, we find that the highest genetic affinity of the Minoans is the Neolithic and modern European populations. So continuity all through. Continuity all the way through. mtDNA and Y chromosome. So
hey Sean, which son you are tonight? Are you the Sean Michaels or Sean Hannity?
Shawn Michaels and that, baby.
Yeah, you chin checking motherfuckers tonight, brother. That's that sweet chin music right there, boy.
So that's two different studies. And then we went to scripture and showed you the aisles. They showed you where the map showed you where they picked up the specimens from on the islands. And we showed you the scripture that these were seafaring people, the Isles of the Gentiles. So I don't know how much more we can show them. But if you want to, we can continue digging the grave if you want.
Yeah, we pretty much beating a dead horse, but I want to finish that.
Yeah, go ahead, finish that. Let me, stop sharing my screen. Go back to
Hey, Yasha, if I was you, I wouldn't show up either. Jeremiah Judah saved your ass. Jeremiah Judah must have set him down. Like, listen, man, I watched that video they did the other day. You might not want to do
Hey, brother, he gonna have sources, brother. You can't go over there freestyling because he gonna shut your ass down. You gotta get your shit together before you go over there.
it.
Man, wait a minute. Just make a quick video about him. Say some shit. Let him play his cards, man, so we can see what he got. That's what he told him.
Hey, he hit him with that Friday scene where he said, "I told you not to come over here and mess with these people." You want some too, old man? No.
No.
He gonna cry in the car, man. All right, so let's get back to page 3. Look, like I told you, this is almost over. We finished with this practically. Where were we at?
Oh, also, even if you get lost in the graph, a lot of times there's a paragraph in there that's going to explain to you the graph anyway. All right, so just read it and you'll figure out what's going on.
That's a fact.
I would tell him to read the supplementary, but he probably won't read that far.
No, he ain't. No.
Brother, we can't even get him to read the damn introduction to the article because most of the times it summarized the whole thing. So they damn sure not going to read the supplementary info because that's technical shit.
Yeah, they best bet just to read the article, which they're not going to do that. They're going to be pleading and just trying to get away from it. But this is what it says, Yasha. It says a population from Armenia possess some ancestry related to Eastern European hunter-gatherers, so they are similar unsampled populations in Western Asia could have contributed it to the population of the Aegean. So they're saying that the Asian peoples got their Eastern European hunter-gatherer DNA, or the Mycenaean people got their Eastern European hunter-gatherer DNA through these peoples from Armenia. This model makes geographical sense since a population moving from the vicinity of, let's go down, Armenia could have admixed with Anatolian Neolithic related farmers on either side of the Aegean. And again, remember, Mycenaeans and Minoans, they share that Anatolian Neolithic component. So, however, Mycenaeans can also be modeled as a mixture of Minoans and Bronze Age steppe populations. So when you say they're not the same people, let me read it again for you, Yasha. However, Mycenaeans can also be modeled as a mixture of Minoans and Bronze Age steppe populations, because again, the Mycenaeans break off from the Minoans. We read that earlier. Suggesting that alternatively, Eastern ancestry arrived in both Crete and the mainland Greece, followed by about 13 to 18% admixture from with a northern steppe population from in mainland Greece only. Such a scenario is also plausible. First, it provides a genetic correlate for the distribution of shared toponyms in Crete, mainland Greece, and Anatolia discovered in reference 21. Second, it postulates a single migration from the east. Third, it proposes some gene flow from geographically contiguous areas of the north where steppe ancestry was present since at least the mid-3rd millennium BC. We validated inferences from the QP ADM by treating source populations as ghosts and re-estimating mixture proportions by examining the correspondence between QP ADM estimates in PCA, and by comparing simulated individuals of known ancestry against the Mycenaeans. Geographical structure may have prevented the spread of northern ancestry from the mainland to Crete, contributing to genetic differentiation. Such a structure may, in principle, be long-standing even before the advent of Neolithic in the 7th millennium BC. Alternatively, both northern and eastern ancestry may have arrived in Aegean at any time between the early Neolithic and the Bronze Age. Wider geographical and temporal sampling of pre-Bronze Age population in the Aegean may better trace the advent of northern and eastern ancestry in the region. However, sampled Neolithic samples from Greece down to the final Neolithic, 4100 BC, do not possess either type of ancestry, suggesting that the admixture we detect probably occurred during the 4th to 2nd millennium BC time window. Other proposed migrations, such as settlement by Egyptian or Phoenician colonists, watch this, hold on, because he said the Minoans are Phoenicians. Yasha, this article is going to answer that proposed Phoenician colonist BS.
Verbatim.
Yeah, it addresses it. Other proposed migrations, such as settlements by Egyptian or Phoenician colonists, are not discernible in our data, as there is no measurable Levantine or African influence in the Minoans and Mycenaeans. Now, I could just shut the video down now. I could stop here. It's over. It's over, Yasha. You done. We don't have to keep beating this horse. It's over with. It's
Hey,
over.
but I'm gonna keep emphasizing this Jaffa stuff. Hey, what ain't all the lineages listed F lineages? They descend from F lineages.
Yes.
Just want to point that out. I mean, that's the common denominator that keep leading us back to Jaffa in Europe. Just saying.
Hey, let me go back and let me read this from the top, because the brother again, he says, you're not using methodology. Actually, I am. You're not. Let's read it. Other proposed migrations, such as settlements by Egyptian or Phoenician colonists, are not discernible in our data, as there is no measurable Levantine or African influence in the Minoans and Mycenaeans, thus rejecting the hypothesis that the cultures of the Aegean were seeded by migrants from the old civilizations of these regions. What regions? The Phoenician and Egyptian regions. It's over with, boy. You done. You finished, Yasha. That was your whole argument. There's no data to support that. All right, so let's keep going. So just get murked when the clips disperse, but don't leave yet. The shit gets worse. On the other hand, migrants from areas east or north of the Aegean, while numerically less influential than the locals, may have contributed to the emergence of the 3rd or 2nd millennium BC Bronze Age cultures as creative disruptors of local traditions, births of innovations, or through cultural interaction with the locals coinciding with the genetic process of admixture. Relative ancestral contributions do not determine the relative roles in the rise of civilization of the different ancestral populations. Nonetheless, the strong persistence of the Neolithic substratum does suggest a key role for the locals in this process. This is looking grim for your argument, Yasha. Phenotype prediction, since you say big guy on skin color, right? And how people look. Phenotype prediction from genetic data has enabled the reconstruction of the appearance of ancient Europeans who left no visual record of their pigmentation. By contrast, the appearance of the Bronze Age people of the Aegean has been preserved in colorful frescoes and pottery depicting people with mostly dark hair and eyes. We use the Harris-Plex tool to infer that the appearance of the ancient samples match the visual representation, suggesting that art of this period reproduced phenotypes naturalistically. We estimate the fixation index of Bronze Age population with present-day West Eurasians, finding that Mycenaeans were least differentiated from populations from the Greece. Mycenaeans were least differentiated from populations from Greece, Cyprus, Albania, and Italy. Part of the general pattern in which Bronze Age populations broadly resemble present-day inhabitants from the same reason. Bronze Age populations broadly resembled present-day inhabitants from the same region. Yasha. These people would look like modern people, modern Greeks. It says modern Greeks occupy the intermediate space of the PCA along principal component 1 between ancient European and Near Eastern populations such as those of the Bronze Age. They are not, however, identical to Bronze Age populations as they are above them along the principal component 2. This is because Neolithic farmers shared fewer alleles with modern Greeks than with Mycenaeans. Consistent with additional latter admixture, the Minoans and Mycenaeans sampled from different sites in Crete and the mainland Greece were homogeneous. Are you hearing this? Yasha, if you're listening, the Minoans and Mycenaeans sampled from different sites in Crete and mainland Greece were homogeneous. Now, your statement was they are not the same. But this article is saying they're homogeneous, which means they're the same. Let me read it again. The Minoans and Mycenaeans sampled from the different sites in Crete and mainland Greece were homogeneous, supporting the genetic coherency of these two groups. What does coherent mean? Differences between them were modest, viewed against their broad overall similarity to each other and to southwestern Anatolians, sharing in both the local Anatolian Neolithic-like farmer ancestry and the Eastern Caucasian related admixture. They're the same. Mycenaean and Minoans are the same. So how are you going to keep going around saying that Minoans are not the same as Mycenaeans? And that Minoans are Hamites and Mycenaeans are Europeans. They're both the same. They're homogeneous. That's what the paper says. They're genetically coherent. That's what the paper says. So we let the sources do the talking for us. All right? You let your dogma speak for you. Two key questions remain to be addressed by future studies. First, when did the combination ancestry of both Minoans and Mycenaeans arrive in the Aegean? Second, is the northern ancestry of Mycenaeans due to the sporadic infiltration of Greece or to rapid migration as in Central Europe? Such a migration would support the idea that Proto-Greek speakers formed the southern wing of the steppe intrusion of the Indo-European speakers. Yet the absence of the northern ancestry in the Bronze Age samples from Poseidia, where Indo-European languages were attested in antiquity, cast doubt on genetic linguistic association. With further sampling of ancient Anatolian speakers needed, whatever the answer to these questions, discovery of at least two migration events from the Aegean in addition to the first form and dispersal before the Bronze Age and the additional population changes since that time supports the view that the Greeks did not emerge fully formed from the depths of prehistory, but were indeed a people ever in the process of becoming. And that is the end of the article. And this article even cites Barnell M. Black, the Black Athena, the Afro-Asiatic Roots of Classical Civilization. You know what I'm saying? That book that tries to say that, oh, these people are African or Phoenician settlers. That's where you get it from. It debunks it. It debunks it. Shalom, Ivry.
Shalom, shalom.
You missed it, man.
Yeah.
You missed it, brother.
Oh, I did.
Yeah, because this brother said the Mycenaeans and Minoans are not the same people, but the article literally says, I'm going to read it again, right here. The Minoans and Mycenaeans sampled from different sites in Crete and mainland Greece were homogeneous. That's pretty much the conclusion of the article.
So was he here today or?
No, he didn't show up.
Oh.
He no-showed.
You know why he ain't show up?
Why?
Y'all Yap Gang dudes be doing too much, man. Y'all be doing that.
Yeah, it was gonna be a funeral session.
It was gonna be a funerary. It was gonna be funerary arrangements. It was gonna be a wake.
Yeah, he don't want to step into that gladiator ring, you know.
Oh man,
Spartacus versus some slave, Roman slave.
Let me just cite the thing in the.
Wait, no, I should say a Greek slave.
Now, is he gonna be a man and be like, you know what? The article does say that, or are you gonna continue to say he's lying, bro? I'm reading it verbatim. And also, Ivry, in this article, it tells you that there's no evidence that these people come from the Phoenicians.
No, Greeks never claimed to be Phoenicians. Herodotus even says that Phoenicians came from the Levant and settled there in some areas in Greece, but he never said that they were the actual Greeks. They knew that they were distinct people.
Exactly. So let me go back to that portion where it addresses that. It's right here. It says other proposed migrations, such as settlements by Egyptian or Phoenician colonists, are not discernible in our data, as there is no measurable Levantine or African influence in the Minoans or Mycenaeans, thus rejecting the hypothesis that the cultures of the Aegean were seeded by migrants from the old civilization of these regions.
I think you gotta let it go.
Let it go, baby. It's
Another
another
love to KO.
All right, man. That's pretty much it. I mean, we can show ancient year. I don't even. What's the point of even keep going? Like,
Yeah, I think that's enough.
I can show the Cro-Magnons and what they look like and like other stuff like that, but I think it's just overkill at this point. We read
So
the
is that
article.
going to be? Oh, my bad.
You said what, Avery?
So is that going to be the discussion? Greeks, and also you was going to get into archaic humans.
I was gonna get into the proto-early Europeans. We could have argued that too. You know what I'm saying? Then we could have got an actual formal debate set up, but he didn't even allow that to happen because he didn't want to show up.
So when you texted him, he said nothing, or he said he
I didn't get
want
a
to do it.
response. I didn't get a response.
Okay.
It is what it is. I'm not going to keep going back and forth and hashing on this. I will be reviewing your information on Sonetta. And when you actually debate Chris on Sonetta, if you do it, I'm going to review it. I'm going to critique him. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just going to move on. Like, if you don't want to have this discussion because you know, your eyes were bigger than your stomach, as we say down south, you know what I'm saying? It's over with, bro. Like, everything we brought out today, let me show you his claim, Avery. So this is what we were disproving. This was his
Yeah,
claim.
let me see that. Yeah.
And we
Yeah,
definitely going to
pull
post
it up
this.
one more time before we leave.
Yeah. And
You
we
see that,
definitely going to
Avery?
post it in the Rumble Room. We're definitely going to post this in the Rumble Room so everybody can see it, including him.
All right. Let me
This
take
is
a
his
look.
channel, Yasha Ben Yisrael. He said Yashuv swears the Minoans and Mycenaeans are the same people, and that the Greeks equally descend from both. We just proved that in the article. Again, the article name is The Genetic Origins of the Minoans and Mycenaeans by Lazarus, 2017, in Nature.
It was 3 articles we pulled up, didn't it?
So what does he believe Minoans and Mycenaeans are? What does he believe?
All right, so he says it here. He says, does he say it here or does he say it in the video? He says basically in the video he says that the Minoans are the Hamites and the Mycenaeans are Europeans.
He's saying the Minoans are Hamites because of that Bible verse that talks about Mizraim and the
Nah,
people
because they dark
scattered.
skinned.
Oh,
Yeah.
he doesn't even go the biblical route. Okay.
No, he didn't go
Nah,
to
he just
Biblical.
go because they dark skinned.
Mm-hmm. That's pretty much it. So I pretty much chopped this down here. Like you're finished. You're done. There's nothing else to talk about. I don't know what else to address this dude on. When you debate Chris, we will be reviewing it on the channel. And if you feel upset, be upset. I offered you to come on to discuss and maybe build a dialogue that would lead to a formal debate. You decline. The people see it. You're not here. Jeremiah Judah was all in the chat saying, bet we're going to set it up. Bet we're going to set it up. Now it's Friday night. You're not here, bro. It is what it is. So
Give me some more of that Teddy Pendergrass.
play some Teddy.
Let it go.
Let it go, baby.
Looks like a love TKO.
All right, man. I don't know what else to say, man. Anybody got any last comments about the Masim Minoans, his position on the Minoans before
Nope.
we head out of here?
Another Japanese meal.
Another
Japanese
Japanese meal,
hibachi meal.
man.
Another Japanese hibachi meal.
I guess I could say this right now, if you don't mind, Yashu. I have a show with Orthodox Moore and Abu tomorrow at 9 o'clock Central Standard Time. So if y'all want to check out that.
Yeah, you guys go over to Ivry's channel tomorrow. You want me to repost it over here?
Orthodox Moore. This is going to be on his channel.
Oh, okay, Orthodox Moore's channel. All right. Anybody else?
I just want to say Shabbat Shalom to everybody, man.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. We out of here, man. We Japanese still. You getting cooked in front of your family like a Japanese meal. See, I shoot the hibachi and none of you niggas can stop me.
For sure. I got my gag, so you know what that means. It's a bust back thing. I ain't going out like a hoe. When you coming to get me, I got the fofo. When you come to down me, player, please don't miss. Cause that don't do nothing but get my trigger finger pissed. If I live, I live. If I die, it's cool. Cause I know for sure when I was here that I was a fool. If you gon' drill me, come on and drill me. It's all good cause I got some people to see. Why I'm here, I'm getting full all the time, get blunted. My company on the move, he bought the Benz 500. AKs and Glocks in the back of Lexus Jeeps. Having big baller parties every other week. This is the click, nigga, 226. Black connection, nigga, again, the code is 226. Dropping dope hits, taking a nigga bitch. While you on that flight, I'm busting nuts in your wife. All assault rifles is the weapons that's on my team. SKs, AKs, M1s and call beams. Fulfilling dreams, going to the top, nigga. Don't play a hate, cause we'll still hit your block, nigga. Baby gangsta ain't nothing nice. A young nigga, trigger happy, that'll put it in your life, ain't right. Represent uptown to the fullest, finger on the trigger, and I'm ready to pull it. Got my finger on the trigger. What you won't do? What you won't do, nigga? That's all on you. I got my finger on the trigger. What you won't do? What you won't do, nigga? That's all on you. I got my finger on the trigger. What you won't do? Uptown on the way, bitch. So let us through. Finger on the trigger. What you won't do? Downtown, get out the way. That's all on you. Take it how you wanna, bring it how you feel. My niggas is conscious and we kill or be killed. Fuck doing drive-bys, man, we do a pull-up. The nigga on the passenger side automatically died from several gunshot wounds to the head. On the scene he dead, Chopper City niggas fled. Won't you listen to Ziggy, get your car doors bulletproof. It's raining chopper, so get a bulletproof roof too. You got yay, download it, nigga. 9-6, you getting napped, so you best not show it, nigga. But that's when you blow it, nigga. You don't get kicked, then we won't yay, high powered AK, balls move in your face, no trace. Beat the case, go to the weight, make sure it ain't a fake. I want your name plate, cash in your Versace shoes. If you stingy, get plucked, nigga, that's all on you. Finger on the trigger, what you won't do? What you won't do, nigga, that's all on you. I got my finger on the trigger, what you won't do? What you won't do, nigga, that's all on you. I got my finger on the trigger, what you won't do? Uptown's on the way, bitch, so let us through. Finger on the trigger, what you won't do? Busters, get out the way, but it's all on you. Street shit is what I'm into. You got it, I'm coming to get you. Don't hesitate, nigga, or the BG gon' have to split you. I'm down for whatever, I'ma ass with that chopper. If you're playing with me, then them 50 shots gon' stop you. No bullshit, and nigga, my dream is to make a meal. Paper chasing, ain't no faking player, haters get killed. Young trill, baby gangsta into pimping them hoes. But before I trick the hoes, my money goes to my nose and fat. Optimos, t-shirts and jabos. Soldier Reebok, straight sticking to the G code. Uptown is the home of the carjackers, robbers, gangster rappers, head splitters, and kidnappers. Philip C is where I shop for that D. Not the 17th, the real niggas in that 3. Play with them, hard head niggas, they split them. Raw dope, they sell it, I get it, I can tell it. How it go, back up or get bang, nigga. Street smarts the game, nigga. nigga, gotta let him hang, nigga. Pussy nigga got beef with the night creepers. Me, brother, and Diesel riding with them street sweepers. Old nigga want slang without a click. He don't want share, so we gon' ride on that bitch. We bout to turn your block to a war zone. I'm warning you to bring the little kids in they home. Cause when we spin the bin, bullets just getting spit. I gave you a fair warning, so if you hit, you hit. Cause I ain't slacking when I do what I gotta do. Stop being nosy, bitch, but that's all on you. Finger on the trigger, what you won't do? What you won't do, nigga, that's all on you. I got my finger on the trigger, what you won't do? What you won't do, nigga, that's all on you. I got my finger on the trigger, what you won't do? Uptown's on the way, bitch, so let us through. Finger on the trigger, what you won't do? Downtown, get out the way, that's all on you. Got my finger on the trigger, what you won't do? What you won't do, nigga, that's all on you. I got my finger on the trigger, what you won't do? What you won't do, nigga, that's all on you. I got my finger on the trigger, what you won't do? Uptown's on the way, bitch, so let us through. Finger on the trigger, what you won't do? Play ahead to get out the way, that's all on you.